We can do just quick introductions. I'm Dawn Fiala. I have been in home care for close to 20 years. I've been in Approved Senior Network for almost 4 years now. I think it's 4 years in May. I love meeting with you guys and working with you. We have lots and lots of home care clients as well. They're home care agency owners. I met with 2 wonderful people this morning, and I think you guys are just fabulous people. I'm so happy to be on this journey with you. Go ahead, Annette.
Okay. Hi, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I am Annette Ziegler. I will be with ASN 2 years this month. Wow, did time fly? When you're having fun, I love it. I teach the sales training classes. I see a lot of my class members here, and I love what I do. I, too, have 20 years experience in home care. So welcome. Dawn has a great class today.
Hey, all. I am Lisa Marcellet. I know all of you. So a little over 3 years now, and just love, again, being part of your journey on this side and helping you guys get where you need to be.
All right. And I don't know if Valerie is joined, but she is co-owner and founder of Approved Senior Network, and she does all of the magical online things for us. She's the brain behind all of this. And the 3 of us are more the feet on the ground piece of this company, although we also did get into the online stuff too. So please keep your lines muted unless speaking. Share stories, experiences, and tips. You can ask questions by unmuting yourself or putting it in the chat. It looks like the chat is lit up now. Lisa's probably typed something in there. Make recommendations. We'd love to know if you have an idea or want to know something about home care that maybe we haven't covered or cover it a different way. We're happy to do that. So please tell us what you'd like to hear. We are providing a free giveaway. You have to be here for that to happen, and all of you are here. So one attendee will receive a set of customized leave behinds for May with their logo, colors, and contact information. So if you promise that if we give you this free giveaway, we're going to give you all the leave behinds with your colors and logo colors, contact information on it. You promise to send us pictures, and you want to send us pictures when you go out with these items, please comment yes. I see lots of people doing that already in the chat, and we will put you in the drawing and we will reach out to you. Do we reach out the same day, you guys?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we'll reach out to you later today to let you know that you won. Let's see, lots and lots of yeses there. So today we are going to talk about never missing a shift. I know that sounds crazy and impossible here, especially as you grow and get bigger. But I've used this myself, so I know that it works. So we're going to talk about building a bulletproof backup system for your home care agency. So we know that call-offs are inevitable, no-shows inevitable. What happens when that happens, though, is you lose billable hours and client trust, and it doesn't have to be that way. So we're going to show you today how to build a lead caregiver backup system and communicate with confidence with coverage challenges when they arise. So our agenda today is to stop the revenue leak, the true cost of unplanned call-offs, build your bulletproof backup, the lead caregiver system, and master the conversation so you can keep client trust during coverage shifts. So the real cost of an unplanned call-up, I know that you guys know this, it's common sense, but when you really think about it, there's a lot going on. When you don't have a plan with a caregiver call-off and no backup system in place, your scheduling team is burning time calling down a list. Clients are left waiting and wondering, is it going to get covered? Family members, especially the adult children, start to lose confidence in your agency. So one uncovered shift can trigger a family meeting about switching agencies. It really is as much work as we put into it and as much energy and how much we care. It really, one shift can blow the whole thing. So the ripple effect of that is lost billable hours that can't be recovered. Once that shift goes uncovered, it's over. You've lost the billable hours. There's no way to gain those back. Erosion of client and family trust, increased stress on your scheduling team. It really stresses them out. And they might also trying to be staffed for tomorrow or the next day. And in the midst of all of this, they're dealing with a call off. So that stress really sets the scheduling team back. Risk of client discharge or transferring to a competitor. There's a potential safety issue for clients that are maybe bedbound or vulnerable and they're not being served. And then damage to your agency's reputation in the community. Those adult children will run right to Google, right, girls? Ladies, right to Google and leave your review. It takes hardly anything for them to do that. And what happens is your ratings go down. It affects your SEO. It's a big deal. So there's a lot that can be gained from having a backup plan. So we're going to talk about that today. So those two scenarios that demand a backup plan, call-offs or no-shows, and then quick starts. Quick starts are fabulous for building your referral source confidence. When they know that if they call Annette on Friday at 10 o'clock and she can start Friday at 5 p.m. with a caregiver, when they know that Annette can do that over and over again, that builds their confidence in Annette, in your company, and they're going to start referring more often. And I will tell you, most referral sources send that kind of test ahead of time. Annette, Lisa, can you comment to that?
I
Definitely.
When anybody called me at 5 o'clock or on a Friday, I made it my business to get that shift covered, because just like Dawn says, if you can cover it, you're gonna be on speed dial next time they need you, because they know that you're reliable and you could get it covered. There were times where maybe we couldn't start right at 5, but we sent somebody from the office for a couple hours till the caregiver got there. We made it work.
Lisa, what about the testing, the social workers testing with this?
Oh, okay. So this is what I have: 2 hours, and yeah, I try to make all of it happen always, just to build that trust. But of course, setting that expectation is a good idea from the get. But yeah, I would take them.
Yes, you take them. And I think a new social worker, like you're trying to build this new relationship with a social worker, they will throw something like this to you first. Can you really do it? You say you can. It's like a test. Like they will test you. And if you follow through, then you become their person. So a call off or no show where a caregiver calls out sick, a family emergency, or they just simply don't show, you need a qualified replacement in that client's home fast without disrupting the client's routine or alarming their family. And a quick start is when a new client needs services that start right away. Sometimes the social worker's using another home care agency and they fell through. It fell through. They couldn't do it, or they didn't get back to the social worker. And now they're stuck. Or the doctor just walked in and said, guess what? They're not going home Friday. They're going home today. So regardless of how that happens, when you can fill a quick start, that does it put you on speed dial, like Annette said. So we want to be able to do those as well. So both of these situations require the same thing: a caregiver who's ready right now, who's knowledgeable, adaptable, and already vetted. This can't be someone who just responded to an ad from Indeed, right? It's got to be someone seasoned and someone that can get there quickly and who's ready to go. They've been vetted. So that's why we're talking about the lead caregiver model. So introducing this model. So who is a lead caregiver? It's your agency's highest reliability field member. It's someone who's been tried, true, been out there, has shown up time and time again. Maybe they've covered in a pinch for you. Everyone loves them. My lead caregivers were always CNAs because I wanted them to be able to walk into any situation. I didn't want to have an issue because there's a Hoyer lift in the home, or it's a heavier transfer, or something that was a little wonky about the transfer. A CNA they're just more capable. It's not like they're being medical. They're not doing medical things. They just have a higher experience. It's a higher experience level. And then just someone who demonstrates exceptional professionalism, some clinical competence, and dependability over time. So they're not on call in the casual sense. This, with the linked caregiver program that I'm talking to you about, they are guaranteed hours. They're guaranteed hours employees. So they're compensated whether they are dispatched out or they're not dispatched out. They're going to get paid either way. So it's very different. It's not on call where just try to be available for us on Fridays at this time. They're going to get paid whether they get called out or not. And I know that sounds crazy, but you can set it up for however you want. It might be 20 hours a week. It might be 10 hours a week. It might be 40 hours a week, depending on where your vulnerability is. Where are the holes? Where are most of the call? I can tell you it's probably Monday and Friday morning, but where is all of that happening? What time of the day? What days of the week? And
Saturdays.
so guaranteed hours. So it might be that they work from, I don't know, maybe you need them all day Friday. Let's say from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday. They're guaranteed 12 hours. They're guaranteed their rate, whether they go out or they don't go out. What I can tell you is I've never had a lead caregiver not work. They've always worked the guarantee, because we're going to use them first because we're already paying them. So if there is a call up, if there is a no-show, if there is a quick start, guess who's going? The lead caregiver is going to go. And they're going to be able to walk into any situation because they have that experience. Maybe they're a CNA. And so that's who I'm going to use. That's who I'm going to call. I've never had a lead caregiver not work the hours that we guaranteed them. It never happened. Their commitment is that they need to be available during agreed upon coverage windows. Whatever you've told them, they have to answer their phone live every time. They need to be ready to leave within a minute of call. It's not, I've got to take my kid to daycare. Their kid should be in daycare because they are technically working. They're getting paid right now and they need to be able to leave in a minute's notice. There can be no personal obstacles that prevent immediate departure, prevent them from leaving immediately. They need to be capable of stepping into any client situation and represent the agency really well in every case. They should be able to walk in because get this, the client might be mad. Their caregiver no showed. Their caregiver didn't come in. Again, we have no idea what this lead caregiver is walking into when you hire them. We don't know all the scenarios. A lot of times they're going in there and they're standing tall for the company. That's why they have me. They've put in a backup plan just in case this happens. So they're able to walk into a situation like that and iron it out where everybody's still happy with the company. So what makes them lead caregiver material? Clinical competence. I think it's important. If you're allowed to do Hoyers in your area, I don't know, but there are so many different kinds of Hoyers. There's sitting, standing. They all operate differently. They need to be able to walk in and be able to handle that and know what is the risk involved and how do I do this safely. All of that should be a given. They're always reachable. So when your office calls, they are available. They have no issues stopping them from going out right now to that client's home. They have professional adaptability. Every client is different, so they can walk in and smooth things over right away. And your office could warn them. The adult daughter's probably there by now, and she's probably fuming mad by now because the caregiver is late again or isn't coming again. So please make sure you make nice with that adult daughter right when you walk in the door, like giving them a heads up about that. But it's somebody that's able to do that smoothly. They're steady under pressure. Call-offs, quick starts come with stress, upset clients, and anxious family members. So that lead caregiver needs to remain composed, communicate professionally, and keep the agency's reputation intact. So this is a lot. It's a lot. Like it would be hard to walk in and everybody's mad, but they still need the care. That's not easy. So you do need to make sure that you're vetting these people really well and that you've had experience and time with them. You know that they're capable of doing these things. They've proven themselves to you already. Structuring this agreement, the way that we did it was they were guaranteed a minimum number of hours each week. We picked the days, we picked the times ahead of time, and we paid them $2 to $3 more an hour above a standard caregiver pay. And for us, it was worth it because they're saving the day many times. They're saving the day. They're keeping the clients, they're keeping the referral source. Whatever it is, it was worth it to us to pay them $2 to $3 more an hour. When we looked for this person, we made this, it was a promotion. It was, everyone wanted to be a lead caregiver. Will they ever let me be a lead caregiver? We really made a lot of noise about this. We elevated this position in everyone's eyes. Everyone wanted to be a lead caregiver because they got paid more. You had to be cream of the crop to be able to qualify for this position. Priority scheduling for any available ongoing case, they're going to go first. They're going to be the one to go. Of course, you want a caregiver that's going to stay there and be ongoing with a call off, a no-show, that you just can't whip that together usually that quickly. With a new start, you can't always do that either, where this is your caregiver. So the client should be told ahead of time, this is a quick start. The caregiver coming in, especially if it's a lead caregiver, I've always been very clear. This is not going to be your ongoing caregiver. The only issue with this is you're going to love her and you can't have her. She is a lead caregiver. She's the cream of the crop. She's the best of the best. You're going to want her, and that's not going to happen. So they need to understand that. They definitely, because they will fall in love with them. Clear written expectations in an updated job description. So the caregiver commits to being available and reachable during designated coverage hours. They respond to calls within minutes, not hours. They depart for a client's home immediately when you call them. They accept any case assigned, familiar or new. They maintain all required certifications and compliance. They uphold agency standards in every visit. One thing I can tell you is they can get a little burnt out because they're running. So we didn't use them on their off days. Like we didn't bug them with, hey, I had a call off like on a Thursday. I didn't bother them with that. I didn't want them to feel like they had to. If it was someone who needed a lot of money and was very clear, hey, I want to work, maybe I would. But we tried to take that pressure off the rest of the week if we felt like we really strung them out. So keep that in mind. So this arrangement must be formalized in writing and signed. Both parties must clearly understand the expectation before the role begins. Do we have any questions? I know there's a lot of chats in there, but that's probably about the leave behinds. Everything?
Yeah, I don't see any questions right now.
Okay.
I wanted to add, Dawn, for our lead caregiver. So we always had them pretty busy too, but once in a great while, there was a day maybe that they weren't doing anything. So we would have them either come in the office and do some things or go do client visits, stop at clients, check in with caregivers, go to a new client's home with a caregiver and do some training. So that's how we used to use up hours if they weren't going anywhere, but they usually.
That's a great idea. And that definitely, that's a great idea, having them go there on the first shift with the new caregiver, new client, or just do the client visits that need to get done. Those pop-in visits. A great
pop-ins. The pop-ins. Yeah, we had a similar model. Yeah. Love lead caregivers.
Yes, they really do. And you can grow faster with lead caregivers. That's what I found. Our billable hours went up very quickly because of the new starts and not missing those shifts. And we're going to talk about why that is too here in just a minute. So how many lead caregivers do you need? So it depends on your census. Like what is your average daily number of clients? And then find your windows of risk. Is it early mornings, weekends, holidays? We did have weekend caregivers that worked all day Saturday, all day Sunday. We didn't really have any that did an overnight, because usually overnights were always really easy for us to cover. I'm not sure why that is. We had a lot of overnight caregivers. They loved that awake overnight shift, so many of them. So we didn't have issues with those. We could always find someone to cover those. So that wasn't a risk window for us, but that could be different for you. And then you want to assign leads, one lead shift per zone. So if it's all early mornings every day of the week or Monday through Friday, that might be one lead. It might be that we had 4 leads just on Fridays alone, 4 that were available on Fridays. Some were doing quick starts because of the discharges. Some were doing call offs, no shows. And again, if we have 4, we don't need them all. Like Annette said, they can go do client visits. They can do trainings. We're going to keep them busy because we're paying them anyway. So we're going to keep them busy. So most small to mid-sized agencies benefit from having 2 to 4 designated lead caregivers who cover different shifts or geographic zones. As your census grows, your lead caregiver roster should grow with it. So think of it as an investment. One covered shift pays for hours of guaranteed coverage. So communicating with the client. So this is where I found a ton of our billable hours going away. I would look on Monday morning at my billable hours for the week, and it would be, and I'm just going to say 2,000 hours for the week. And then I would look on Wednesday and it would be like 1,600 hours. I'm like, how did we lose that many hours? What is happening? And then I went in and spent some time with my scheduling team, just in the room where they were. And when there was a call off, they were calling the client and saying, your caregiver called off today. Do you want us to send someone else? Do you want a replacement? Those are the words of death. You don't ever want to say that. And I had no idea.
Give the option.
There's never an option for them to say no. We never want to give them that option. You can lose so many billable hours with that language. I can't tell you. We were losing billable hours hand over fist. And I understand for the scheduling person, it's scary to say your caregiver isn't feeling well, but we'll have replacements on the way. You can expect them within an hour. That's a scary thing to say, but you have no idea who's going. But if you have a lead caregiver, you do have an idea and you have a name, because they're going to ask, what's your name? You have all of that when you call. And if Monday mornings, I think we had 4 or 5 lead caregivers starting at 7 a.m. ready to go, because we had 400 clients. So we had 4 or 5 call offs every Monday morning. Easy, for sure. That happened every single. And it was just expected. It was anticipated. We all knew you have to have a backup plan because you know it's going to happen. So the things to say are, good morning. This is so-and-so. Your caregiver isn't feeling well today, but we have a replacement on the way. You can expect them within the hour. Or Mary's already on her way. She'll be there by 9. Or we want to make sure your care continues without interruption. Our team has this covered for you. Never say your caregiver called off. Do you want someone else? We're trying to find someone. We'll call you back if we can. Would you like a replacement or are you okay on your own today? Lots of things happen with that. One adult child is furious because what's the senior going to say? No, I'm good. I don't need anything. I'm fine. And so then that happens 2-3 days in a row. And guess what? They think they're doing okay. We know they're at risk, but they managed to get through 3 days without their caregiver. What do you think's coming next? They're going to reduce their hours or quit. It's a gamble, guys. So it's really important that you have somebody go out there and that the language we're using over the phone is about the person who's on their way already. And if you know it's a client, I like Susie. That's my caregiver. I don't want anyone else. I'm sorry. Leanne's already on her way. That's what you say, that they're already on their way. We're not asking for permission. They're already on their way.
Yeah. We do have a question.
Uh-huh.
Did you pay the lead caregivers for mileage?
If they were driving, let's see, if there was some kind of rule. If it was like, if the shifts were within an hour of each other, we paid mileage. Does that sound familiar to you, Lisa?
Yeah, so we paid mileage, and so if you have to pay travel time too if they're driving from one shift to another and it's within an hour, you're right.
Yes. Yes.
So that is definitely, we did pay travel time for their car unless they had a fleet vehicle. Some of our caregivers, I think we had multiple cars. And so I think 2 or 3 of them had a fleet vehicle. So of course we didn't have to pay mileage then, but yeah, if they use their own vehicle, we did have to, but it might depend on your state too. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So to restate that, if it was within the hour, one shift ended and the next shift happened within an hour, we paid mileage. And of course, if they're driving the client around, which they could be because that's what caregivers do, then the caregiver paid the mileage. Annette, did you have something to add?
We didn't pay mileage. We didn't pay mileage, but I was also going to add, you might have this in another slide, but when there's holidays, we would call and the scheduler would never say, okay, Christmas is on Thursday, so do you still want our caregiver? We used to try and fill another day because you lose a lot of hours during those holidays too. Exactly. Oh, my family's here. So I understand your family's going to be there on Thursday. So we can send somebody on Monday. We can do another day this week. Which day works?
That's a really important way because some of them don't want to pay time and a half. Some of them have to town. And when I would sign a client up and they were like, when I read about the holidays, they're like, I don't want to pay time and a half. So I would never have their schedule be on a Monday because we have a lot of Monday hours. So I would think about that when signing them up. But yes, if Christmas was coming, we would call and the marketing team did it because it was more of a sales thing. And we would say to them, Christmas is on a Thursday, so we're going to send your caregiver Tuesday instead. How does that work? So it wasn't even what day do you want to replace? Because then they're going to say, oh, I don't need anything. I'm good. So it was just like, we're going to send them Monday or Tuesday. Which day do you prefer? And the sales team's pretty good about making sure that happens. But that's a really good point, Annette, for the billable hours and keeping them.
Yeah. We would also do that during the assessment as well. If I was assessing someone and they say, we don't want to pay any overtime for holidays, I'd say, okay, so when there's a holiday on this day, can we just go ahead and move it to this day? We would still call them to remind them, but we would already have that kind of in place. So, we didn't have about losing those hours.
Super smart. Yeah. You have to, the more you can plan ahead, the easier I think this all becomes. So why do you want a replacement is a dangerous question because they're almost always going to say no. They don't want to be a burden. They don't really think they need the care. Most of them, I'll be fine. They see it as a luxury, not a necessity. Most of them, these people grew up in the Depression and had one pair of socks their whole childhood. So they don't see this care as something that has to happen anyway. So they're going to say no. And that adult child is going to be livid because they feel like mom's got this caregiver. I can go to work. I don't have to think about her. She's doing good. So our job is to inform and deploy, not present options that invite a no. So that's a really good one-liner with your scheduling team. Our job is to inform and deploy, not present options that invite a no. We don't want to hear no. And that's what's best for the senior anyway. They're signed up for care for a reason. Their caregivers aren't just there visiting and hanging out. Like it's needed. It's a necessity. So we want to keep them safe too.
So we have another question, Carrie.
Oh, okay. Good.
We have another question. It's a follow-up to the mileage, but if you have a large territory, I guess we would have to define large territory, but did you give them a travel allowance? This is for the clients that are maybe far from their home. So I think if the lead caregiver is traveling from their home to the client, it's super far. a large territory? Was there a travel?
I mean, we did think about that. It was on a case by case. The lead caregivers, some of them could get whiny after some time where it's going to take me 45 minutes to get there and I'm only there for 2 hours or whatever. We might throw in a $10 bonus, or we had gas cards too, lots and lots of gas cards that we would give them gas cards or Walmart gift card or something like that. They do need to feel appreciated and not taken advantage of. And they'll taken advantage of because they're running all over, right? They're covering everything and they really are saving the day. So if it was a long drive and they just got done with another long drive, I might throw in a $10 bonus or something like that. I wouldn't probably say, you drove 45 minutes, so we're going to give you I wouldn't say, we really appreciate you. We want to give you a $10 bonus this week or for today. Yeah. I would never probably tie it to the actual miles because then they're going to expect it every single time. And you may do that every single time. So anytime I would throw in that kind of, it wasn't for anything specific. It's like, you are just killing it this week. We really appreciate you. We want to give you an extra bonus today. It was more worded that way because I don't want them to come back every single time. I'm doing that 45-minute drive, but they may have to do it every day for a week because we can't find a caregiver. They're steady Eddie caregivers. So I don't want to tie it to that specifically. I hope that answers it.
Yeah. I think it did. There's another question, but I wanted to add one other thing. When I used to do an assessment and sign up a client and they specifically wanted this one person, maybe it was 5 or 6 days, I always tried to have a couple caregivers because that would alleviate the problem too. If the caregiver calls off, then Susie can come. I never really, I used to get into trouble when we just they'd get used to that one caregiver. I always said there's going to be times when maybe they can't come. It's good for you to get to know 2 different people and they'll work together. I just wanted to add that in. But
when they say that, I just want one caregiver that I have a really good, the hairs on the back of your neck should stand up.
Yes. Like, not going to work.
Because when Susie doesn't show up on time and you say she's been like 3 days in a row, we're upset with Susie right now, so we're going to introduce another person. Susie, but when they quit, it would be because Susie was late 3 days in a row. So I know that we would always tell them you're going to see a few different caregivers the first couple of weeks. One, that helps us to find somebody because maybe we could only cover Wednesday and not Thursday, Friday. And it also forces them to get used to different caregivers. Say this is a team approach. It's not like you're not a different person every day for the rest of your life. But the first couple of weeks, we're just filling it out. Who do you like? How does this look? And we want you to have more than one because they need to back up. So that's an excellent point. Yeah.
And for us on this end, I don't want one caregiver owning the job. I just things can happen.
They become control freaks after a while. They're calling the shots.
Yes. Exactly. And just beyond, they can go out, overstep and all of those things. So you can't just have one caregiver.
They start running the household.
You can go unnoticed, right? Even if you do pop-ins, everyone's on their best behavior when you're there. So it's never have just one caregiver, I would say, if you can help it.
Totally.
Question is, if you guarantee, say, 20 hours, are you expecting for the lead caregiver to work 20 hours only, or are you / them expecting to work 30 or 40 hours?
So they can work 20 hours as a lead caregiver, and I would keep an eye on that. And they can have a couple of other clients as a regular caregiver if they want more than 20 hours. But they have to understand they can't call out on the lead caregiver position because they're exhausted from working the other 10 hours that they did this week. Their lead caregiver work is always going to trump the other work that they're doing. Not that those clients don't matter, but they're not a lead caregiver in that situation. So there are some that want more than 20 hours a week. And if they're that good, but they're not going to get paid the $3 more working with their ongoing client. They get lead caregiver pay and they get their regular caregiver pay. And eventually, if you have more room and need for a lead caregiver, you start increasing their hours from 20 to 30, whatever you need. You also need to make sure they're going to show up and that they're dependable.
Yeah, we actually did have our lead caregivers at the full-time.
Same, like 40 hours.
Yeah.
We did too, but if you're a newer agency, you may not have that need. The weekend caregivers weren't always working 40 hours. Some of them did, but not always. So we had lots of different options. Because we had some caregivers that were fabulous. We loved them. We knew they'd be great at this, but they could only give us 15 hours a week. Is whatever reason they have kids or whatever, their life just didn't allow them to work more than that. So we had all kinds of different agreements running around.
Right. Definitely. Yeah.
So the right script, word for word templates. So you're going to get a copy of these slides. I don't know that we need to read through all of them, but we have a script for call off coverage. We have a script for the lead caregiver is en route and the quick start introduction. So I would print these. I would hang them up in front of your people, your schedulers, so that it just role play with them. So it just rolls off their tongue, because it can be difficult to just, like they've been saying, would you like a replacement? Do you want us to come later in the day, or whatever they've been saying? It'll take a bit for them to get used to saying it this way. So role playing with them would be good. Hanging these up would be good. And it's really important when your person signs these clients up that they explain the lead caregiver role and what it is. From time to time, if your caregiver is out, we have lead caregivers that will come and cover the shift. It's automatic. There's nothing for you to do. We don't charge you more. It's just what we do. Just know she's not going to be your ongoing caregiver. And if it's a quick start, the salesperson, whoever is signing up, needs to explain this is not your ongoing caregiver. I can't stress that enough, because they do fall in love. They do. The lead caregiver. And when their caregiver calls out sick and you call them, they're like, oh, is Mary the lead caregiver coming, or is it Kim the lead caregiver? I love them both. I don't care which one, but which one is it? Like, they're excited. That's how much they love them. So it's really important that you set the precedent that they will never, because they've had them. We'll pay you more if we can have her. We'll pay you more. And like, no, she's not available. I'm so sorry.
So we have another question. This one is, if you had to guess out of the 2,000 hours a week, let's say, how many were covered by a lead caregiver? And out of X total caregivers, how many were lead caregivers?
Oh God. We had lots of caregivers, but they weren't all on payroll. Everybody knows what that looks like.
Yeah.
Actually on payroll. I mean, we probably had about 400 caregivers on payroll. I would say 350 to 400, covering 400 clients. God, we probably had 15 to 20 lead caregivers, I would say. They weren't all full time. Like I said, we had some doing 15 hours, some doing 30, some full time. But as far as the 2,000 hours, what percent was covered? God, I have no idea. I really don't. Maybe 10, 15%. I don't know.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
That
sounds
10%.
Yeah, I would say probably. Good questions, though. I love
Yes, very good questions.
Very good questions.
We love when you ask questions.
So what to tell the lead caregiver before dispatch? Of course, I'm sure all of you are using scheduling software and they can see the client's whole profile and all the things. But you want to make sure they know the client's name, address, the story, like a quick, this is their care. They want to know, why am I being called out? If I were a lead caregiver, how mad are they going to be? That's what I would want to know. Give me the skinny. Tell me what the story is. Like, is this the 5th day the caregiver is called out? Is it a quick start? What is the story? Don't send me in blind. I need to know. If there's gate codes, or if they're going into an assisted living community, they have to sign in and do all this stuff. Let them know that ahead of time so they get there early and they're not also late. It's going to be even more important that the lead caregiver is never late, right? Because somebody already has called out. So these lead caregivers need really good instructions, really good everything. They need the skinny. They need to know what's going on. A quick care plan summary, little warning. If you open the front door or leave it unlocked, he's going to wander off. Like those little caveats that are in the care plan somewhere should be vocally told to this lead caregiver before they go. Any emergency contacts, that should also be in the profile. They need to be able to reach somebody from the office. I would have an open door. Lead caregivers get through to the scheduling team. I don't care what's going on. They get through to them. We don't play with she's on the phone. Like, they have direct access to the scheduling team. So if that lead caregiver calls, we do whatever we can to get them to the scheduling team, because they are going into a client's home who is maybe upset already, has already been upset. Maybe it's a new quick start, which is a brand new client. So the lead caregivers always get through. So I can't stress that enough. That's really important. And then documentation expectation. Their lead caregiver, they've got to do everything a regular caregiver do. They're documenting everything they've done. If they're checking off tasks in their app, they have to make sure that they do that. Any notes that we need to know about. What I can tell you is those lead caregivers find out a lot of things going on in that house that the regular caregivers have not told us yet. Or they notice that the care plan doesn't match what's happening, because that same caregiver's been going for a year 6 months, the lead caregiver goes in there and the situation is nothing like the care plan because things change, but no one has told us. So that lead caregiver, that might be an expectation that they might be told ahead of time. If things are going on in the home that don't match the care plan, let us know so we can update it. And I can say that happened quite a bit. Would you guys agree that they noticed things were different than the care plan?
Yes, absolutely. That's why we
like almost every time.
they haven't taken that medicine in this long, or they. That's why we used to try. We had a care coordinator that we used to try to go every few months and update the care plans. In a perfect world, we would do it, but so many times we weren't on top of it. So the lead caregiver would say, "Hey, do you realize this is going on or that's going on? Important stuff."
Or she's not a walker anymore. She doesn't use
Right.
She uses a cane. Why didn't you tell me this? Oh, we didn't know. So as much as we don't want to not know, we're trying to be, that same caregiver's been there and it's just gradually changed over time and she hasn't told us. So they are going to run into some of that and the scheduling team needs to be ready for that as well.
And that's another reason why lead caregivers are so important because your client care can only do so many pop-ins because they're out signing assessments, they're doing all those other things. And so having that lead caregiver, I know when I would go out to pop-ins and then I would get that little, what is it, spidey senses or a little twitch in my nose. I need to come back here and watch a little bit more and see what's going on. And I would uncover so much. It's just crazy. So it's so good to have a lead caregiver system, really.
And that's another reason why our lead caregivers were CNAs, because I felt like they're just quicker, at least with the safety clinical stuff. They can walk in right away and notice those things. We just always hired CNAs for that. Okay, building the system step-by-step implementation. So identify your candidates. Who are those top caregiver people? Part of this that can be difficult for your scheduling team is they don't want to pull that caregiver off a client.
Right.
That can be painful. Leslie's fabulous. Everybody that she sees loves her, but she's got a steady client that's 3 hours every other day or something. I can't pull her off. And if you think it's going to break the client relationship, maybe she keeps that client and starts gradually moving into the lead caregiver role. You'll have to think about that, but that can be one pain point for the scheduling team and for the client that she's on. Sometimes if you have a really great caregiver and their client dies or cancels or quits or what gets better, whatever, that's a good time to implement them into the lead caregiver role too, because they're not tied to a client. Have a conversation with them, discuss the role, the expectations, and the pay, update their job description and their agreements, do some staff training. So dispatch, teach them the dispatch, the scripts, the language, what they can expect when they go out to the home, and then launch it. Do a 30-day pilot and coverage review and see how it goes. So building this system takes focus and effort up front, but once it's running, your team will handle call-offs and quick starts with confidence and speed. So start with 1 or 2 lead caregiver candidates and expand your census as you grow. So overcoming common objections from the caregivers. I can't always drop everything. The whole role of a lead caregiver is that you are dropping everything. That is the role. So it's important they understand this. If they can't give you an open window of when they're going to be available, then they're not good lead caregiver material. Why should I be on standby? Why am I just sitting at home waiting for you to call? They're not. They're getting paid to sit there and wait. How lucky are you? You're getting paid and you're doing nothing but sitting there. So and I don't mean to sound so callous, but you get frustrated with these questions sometimes. They are getting paid. They're on standby. Most of them will be working. So selecting the right person matters more than anything else, more than the training, more than anything. You cannot train reliability or urgency into someone who doesn't naturally operate that way. If they're not that person already, they're never going to be that person. $3 an hour is not going to make them be that person. The title is not going to make them be that person. They have to already be that person. So look for caregivers who already show up early. They already respond quickly. They handle change without complaining. Promote the behavior you already see. Don't hope to develop it after they're assigned. It won't happen. Your lead caregivers should be people your office genuinely trusts to walk into any home, any situation, and represent your agency with excellence, with zero notice. Key takeaways: create the role. So formalize your lead caregiver position. You should have a job description for this. Make sure in that it's got that specific caregiver's hours, days, times, availability, all of that should be, they're all going to be different if they're doing different hours. So they need to have their own. Select your candidates carefully, train your scripts, and protect your billable hours. So if you start today with your top 2, have that conversation, your agency and your clients can afford to wait as you look for these people. It's an important role and they need to fit the role for sure. The role doesn't fit around them. They need to fit the role. So we're going to go through some revenue scenarios. So we're going to take a practical look at how lead caregivers protect and generate revenue across 3 real world staffing solutions. So the first one is same day quick start. So you have a new client, they need to start today. What do you do? Scenario 2, you have a full 12-hour call off coverage. So your 12-hour shift, the caregiver called off and you have no one to cover it. Scenario 3, a partial shift recovery. Your caregiver halfway through the shift has to leave. What are you going to do? So we're going to look at how this affects revenue and billable hours. So same day quick start. The scenario is the referral was received at 10 a.m. The lead caregiver starts care at 1 and with a 3-hour turnaround and turns a prospective client into an active billable case. So without a lead caregiver, you got 0 billable hours, 0 revenue, and your referral source isn't thinking you're so hot because you couldn't do a quick start when you said that you could. So that's all. And you can't even put a dollar amount on that. It's bad. With a lead caregiver, they went from 1 to 6, the case secured immediately, relationship established, ongoing billing initiated. So referral source is thrilled. You're now on their speed dial. We can't put a cost of money on that, but it's big. So maybe you bill $33 an hour at 5 hours. Your revenue for that shift is $165. The lead caregiver is 5 hours at $3 an hour. They cost you $15 out of that $165. You ended up at $150 revenue that day for being able to pick up this quick shift, this quick start. And the case is secured. And you're going to have ongoing weekly billing now because this is not a one-day thing. This is an ongoing client with ongoing shifts. So a single lost referral can represent thousands in long-term revenue that you would lose. The call off coverage. So a 12-hour shift, caregiver calls out. It's an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Without rapid response, without a lead caregiver, the client goes uncovered and revenue disappears entirely. So without a lead caregiver, the shift goes uncovered, client care is disrupted, satisfaction declined, and a full days of billing is forfeited. And your scheduling team is frustrated and calling down the list of people trying to find someone to cover the shift. So you've lost $396 in revenue. The client is upset. The adult children are upset. A 12-hour client is usually more dependent on you. So there may be some safety issues involved here because they are left alone. With a lead caregiver at $33 an hour, your gross revenue is $396. Your lead, you pay $3 more an hour. So they took 36 of the $396. Your net revenue is $360. And again, this is just one shift. Maybe they don't quit now, right? And so you get to continue to do 12 hours and 12 hours. So the $36 lead premium is a 9% cost to save 91% of what you would have lost otherwise.
Right.
So this is a big savings. Mm-hmm. Partial shift recovery. 12-hour shift is in progress. The scheduled caregiver must leave at 2 o'clock, leaving 6 hours uncovered through the end of the shift. That's supposed to end at 8. So without a lead caregiver, the remaining 6 hours go unbilled. Client is left without care for the second half of the day, risking safety and satisfaction. You've lost $198 in revenue. But if you send a lead caregiver in from 2 to 8, that's 6 hours at $33 an hour. So you get your whole $198. Lead premium, lead caregiver is costing you $18 out of the $198. Your net revenue is $180. So even half of the shift saved delivers meaningful results and prevents a client complaint or an incident report. So if we look at all of these added together, just from these 3 shifts, it's just 3 shifts, your weekly total in net revenue is $690. That's just 3 shifts. That would be $2,760 a month in projected revenue just from 3 common scenarios that happen every week in home care. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what's really happening in dollars, right? But it's also affecting client satisfaction and referral source satisfaction and getting ongoing referrals. And you're losing the billable hours that could have been also because they might quit. So that is the lead caregiver. I think that's it. And now we are on to, I think, Annette. Looks like
I'm so glad you did that because that's really cool. That really puts it into perspective.
It really does. Yeah. When I started putting this together, I'm like, wow, this is definitely really valuable. And if you look at just the $2,760 a month, and that's over $24,000 a year. And this is just 3 shifts in a given week. That's it. So
that is great.
To talk about our Go Care Pro sales training program, we have some openings. I left, I think, second part of April. Oh, April 14th. Oh, I think we have a couple openings there. So these are the next 4 classes that are open. We will teach you how to increase your private pay revenue. We teach you referral source by referral source, how to get in, what to say, what to bring with you, all the things that you need to know about every referral source type. We spend 2 weeks on skilled nursing facilities, hands down the best place to get private pay revenue and private pay clients. So you will be able to increase your referrals, grow your revenue, build strong referral relationships. By week 6, it is a 12-week course. By week 6, people are getting referrals from SNFs. So it is a great program. We've had over 100 people take it and it's going really well. If you're interested in this, let us know in the chat. We can have Annette reach out to you. She is the trainer. She does a fabulous job. I think, how many reviews has Annette gotten lately, Lisa?
Like,
no one ever reviews me, but boy, Annette.
There's got to be like 10 or so. I don't know.
Recently.
Just came in. Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, they're like, Annette was my person. Yeah. One of them's like, she's my best friend because they text her. They get stuck and they text her. Like, you were in this class for 12 weeks, but you're able to text and get one-on-one Annette. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.